So how's it feel, Keith? We're running completely unsupervised today.
I kind of thought you were going to lead with that. Yeah. I don't know. It's odd.
It is different. There's so many more lights and buttons in front of me. I don't know what to do.
So, of course, everybody's going, what are they talking about? Andrew, the producer, is out of studio today. He had a bunch of Christmas stuff and trying to uphold our weekly upload status, for our listeners here. We are recording unsupervised. So at the board today is Mr. Johnny Orange himself.
Greetings,
so when this all gets screwed up, our apologies.
Yeah, well, no, they're going to blame me, and everybody listening knows it.
Well, I'd be no better because, to me, that's just all buttons and knobs and dials, and I can't even program my microwave clock. So
I've seen that. You're one of them that leaves on like 3 seconds remaining and then just closes the door.
Yes.
Savage.
Oh, my God.
I hate that. Oh, it drives me nuts. That's worse than a wall clock without batteries.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So this episode, we're episode 36.
Sure.
36 doesn't really coincide with anything hugely four-wheel drive automotive related that I could think of. How about yourself?
Nothing I got.
But it's Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. You got a Christmas wish list?
I got a couple things, mainly just stuff to fix the antenna on Pegasus.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Stock antennas on those TJs are junk. And I touched it one day and it fell off. I'm not kidding. I touched the antenna and the thing broke off the side of the Jeep.
Hashtag salt life.
You say so. Well, Michigan, so yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know where these people get off saying Michigan, water and all that salt free. It's not.
No.
Half the year we're probably worse than Florida.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about some Christmas stuff, and I know there's actually quite a bit of 4x4 news going on, so we got a lot of topics to talk about today.
Sounds good to me.
It's time to hit the trail, lock in those hubs, and throw it into low range. Because you are listening to Wheelin' with Keith and Johnny Orange, broadcasting from the Thin Line Off-Road Studio. They're here to talk about 4x4s, trucks, and everything to do with enjoying the great outdoors. Buckle up. Here's your hosts, Keith and Johnny Orange.
Well, rolling right in with the Christmas stuff, besides your rusted out, broken off, corroded off antenna, what do you want, John?
Well, we start with. Do we want to start with the 4x4 news, then get into the meat and potatoes? I got a great recipe for you this week.
Oh, good. Sure. What news do you have?
All I've got is I'm pretty sure I figured out the issue with the Pegasus transmission clutch noise, and I'm in the process of putting her back together. So by the next episode, hopefully she'll be back on the road.
Good.
Yeah. That's
very good.
Very painstaking, annoying, working at night with one 18-inch halogen light buzzing in my face all the time.
Time for a bigger garage, man.
Yeah, and I think that trans jack that I bought's a little too big.
Is it?
Yeah, there's not enough room for me and the trans and the jack underneath that thing. It's very cramped quarters working with it. But I'm glad I have this over a regular floor jack like I did last time, because I almost dropped that trans a lot last time.
Yeah, floor jack and a piece of wood and a ratchet strap will do it, but it's sure sketchy.
Yeah, especially when the jack's missing like 3 bolts, and it keeps dropping them, and I can't find where they go. So I should probably throw that in a scrap pile, honestly.
Okay.
It's not very safe, but the trans jack is. It's just kind of stupid heavy duty. Like, I cannot pull the jack and trans out as one. Mm-hmm. I'd have to separate.
All right. Okay, national 4x4 news, or international 4x4 news. There's been a couple of things that I've seen. One being, it's really not a 4x4 thing. It's more of an auto sport thing. but it's an auto sport that a lot of guys in the 4-wheel drive hobby follow, and that's NASCAR, or Sprint Cup and all. Where I'm going with that, did you see that Junior Johnson passed away at the age of 88?
I did, and I know from some other circles I'm sort of involved with. I've known the name, as we were discussing before this, and the kind of how he got into it is a little... I mean...
He was a moonshiner.
That's what NASCAR was kind of started from.
Yeah.
So kind of the whole point.
Yeah, he was a moonshiner.
Yet oddly, they outlaw drinking while doing it.
Yes.
Interesting.
He was a moonshiner that was one of the original drivers, promoters, creators of NASCAR. I don't know his personal history real deeply. I know there's a museum you can go to that's got a lot of interesting NASCAR stuff in it. But I do know that type of off-road racing, the moonshining, dirt track racing that eventually became NASCAR, is also where things such as Sprint Cup and rally racing really kind of branched off of as well. So one man who was very influential in the early days of essentially dirt road racing that branched off into so many other motorsports. I think we need to give him that little shout out.
Absolutely.
It's saddened to hear from the Johnson family. I mean, 88 is good ripe old age, but it always sucks to lose somebody like that.
Absolutely. It's one of those inevitable things in any hobby or just in life in general. But I mean, so you can honor them by remembering them and their contributions. So.
Oh, for sure. Well, speaking of contributions, there's another person that we lost, in the industry this last week, or maybe it was the week before. It was the guy who owns Simpson Racing Products. I don't know if you had heard of that.
That one I don't recall seeing, no.
Yeah, and he led his name to Simpson. I'm trying to remember or even look it up right now. No, I don't. Personally, I didn't know too much about him, but I know I'm trying to actually look it up as we speak. I just saw it and I just thought of it. Bill Simpson.
Okay.
Bill Simpson was the, for some reason I wanted to say, well, no, that would have been right, most likely. I had read earlier William Simpson, I thought, but so he probably was a William.
Yeah.
Bill Simpson.
It's funny how most of them do that. There's like 6 different names that coincide with William.
Yeah.
And everybody's different.
Exactly. He passed away. I don't know of what age, but he was ripe old age too. And that's Simpson Racing Harnesses, Simpson Fireproof Suits.
I've heard the name in passing.
Basically, he was a racing safety equipment producer for decades.
Okay.
And so, and Simpson stuff is used in every sort of auto sport, 4-wheel drive stuff, and your NASCAR, your IndyCar.
Yeah.
Simpson's just used in all of it. And I got thinking about that, John. We've done in 36 episodes here, we have done these shout outs to all these people we've lost in this industry. Now, with exception of Jesse Combs, who was taken from us way too early, we're losing these people on a rapid basis. And I was like, man, are we getting old or whatever? But I got thinking about it. Auto sports, really, of all sorts, off-roading, hot rodding, drag racing, all of it, really, its boom time was right after World War II through the 50s and early 60s. That's where all of this goes to. So these people that were influencers in their 20s and 30s back then, it makes sense that we're losing them now.
Yeah.
And so that's why, we are getting this... kind of, it seems like too many people passing away, but at the same, it's the cycle. It's the cycle. It's the timing. So, in 20 more years, we're probably going to be talking about people that were influencers in the 70s and 80s. So probably a lot of like the monster truck people and some of the stadium sports that got big during that time.
One day they'll be having this kind of, this podcast about us.
I don't like that idea, but
yeah, they probably won't. It'll probably be a joyous celebration, like yay, they're off the air.
Sure. Yeah. One other thing in 4x4 news, and we're going to talk about this, and I want to be as nice as I can about this, and I'm struggling with this internally myself a little bit. You and I had talked briefly on this. there are, at this point, let's say 30-ish off-road four-wheel drive related podcasts. This is a booming industry. New ones are coming out every couple of weeks. And
as we discussed in our last episode with the death of the Prince, this might be the new wave. We might see more and more of these pop up.
Sure, and that's a good thing. We like to see that. I personally know probably I'm gonna say 3 of the podcast producers to the different podcasts. Some of them I know through speaking from on the phone. Some of them I've actually wheeled with. Some of them, but I know some of these people. I feel, and I don't want to just point a finger and say this is absolutely the truth, but I feel like somebody who launched a podcast after us is going back and almost carbon copying some of our episodes. And so this is kind of a...
Are they using names like Bob the Apple instead of Johnny Orange?
Yeah, no. And I'm not going to...
grapefruit.
I'm not going to say that this is a warning or anything like that, because I do say, all right, in my mind, is this, what did you say?
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yes. So I feel, because I do listen to their show occasionally, and even some of their titles for their episodes, it seems 3 or 4 weeks after we launch something, they're, copying our theme. I don't want to say that they're word for word or anything like that. That's not the case, but it just seems like
they're doing a lot of the same stuff in succession.
And it is exactly in succession. Like, so for example, let's say we do an episode about axles. It's just a little weird that 2 weeks later they do an episode about axles.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's
the only thing I'll say for us in that respect is we have a format that works enough for someone else to duplicate it.
True.
So we're doing something right.
Yeah. True. And and they have a pretty strong social media following. So that's...
Hey, maybe, as I'm sure, and I hope somebody's obviously listening to us over there. Let's talk. Let's maybe do like a crossover episode or something.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
that'd be cool. I mean, we're not knocking you guys. Everybody's inevitably there's gonna be crossover.
We like what you're doing. Yeah. We really do. But just know that it's noticed that it seems like, and I think, and if you need examples, I'll give you examples. But it does seem like there's a bit of carbon copying of some stuff, and in this world, I don't even think they call it plagiarism when it's voice. I mean, because TV and radio does here. One comic. Think of DC and Marvel.
Oh yeah.
DC comes out with one character. Marvel comes out with a character that's almost exactly the same, but like a little bit different colors and same backstory and everything. You know,
I've never actually seen any of those movies, and that's blasphemous to probably half the people listening. I know. I've seen 2 movies in that world, and one I didn't even realize. Actually, I didn't realize either of them were part of it. They were good movies, but
yeah. Well, I mean,
I should one of these days.
You've seen I haven't seen any of the Nicholas Sparks movies, and I know you've seen all of them.
No, not a single one.
You haven't seen The Notebook, and I think it's the only one I can think of.
I saw The Lake House. I don't think that was one of his though.
I don't know. Is that the one where Keanu Reeves and the time thing?
I think so. Yeah, they write letters, put it in the mailbox, and yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
It was. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but nonetheless.
All right. So I don't want to harp on this.
Yeah,
on this
I've got one more piece of unfortunate news. It's a little bit less 4x4, but it deals with how you get your 4x4 stuff. So everybody's, you see the tractor trailers, the semis when you're driving by on the road. Mm-hmm. There's a very popular brand, one name, Mack. And I believe it was the past week or so here, they rolled off the line the last manual transmission in a Mack semi.
I saw your post about that, and 2 things. One, I didn't realize Mack was still around.
I knew they were around. A friend of mine, I've got a few friends on Facebook who are truck drivers.
Okay.
And that's actually how I found out. A friend of mine was very disappointed that they were, my buddy Garrett actually, I don't know if he listens or not, but he was disappointed that they rolled that out. And everybody and all the comments on it was like, well, this sucks. That's really sad. It's a bummer. Some other things about the millennials killing it and all that.
Well, I mean, I thought the semi trucks would definitely go longer in the manual trans. I'm saddened by it as well. I know that back in episode 16, if anybody's interested in hearing about the death of the manual transmission a little bit further, we did talk in episode 16 about that.
And I think I actually said something in there about the semis still having it and that they would for a while. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think we touched on it, and so I guess we could call that a correction.
Well, I mean, for Mack only. I mean, you still got, Peterbilt and Kenworth and all those guys.
Like Freightliner.
Yeah.
And I don't know the status of them. I just know that post I saw from him.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, though.
It's sad. Yeah, it is sad.
They made their own manual transmissions in-house? Is that what they did?
To my understanding. I only read one article on it.
It's not our world. Yeah,
no,
we don't.
It's... I mean, those trucks bring us the parts we order.
Sure.
If we're not, picking them off of some dead thing in a scrapyard.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's an unrecognized industry, I'd say, the whole trucking.
Yeah.
It's at the core of, you live in the middle of nowhere, it's got to get to you somehow. It starts manufacturing facility, gets trucked to a shop or distribution center. They're a very important backbone of the United States, and it does affect us.
Yeah, let me side note there for a moment. Or not really side note, but like on that, I like where you're going with it, John. As you know, I was an over the road driver for a few years. Not the big 18-wheelers, but it was more like a 42-foot enclosed trailer. I delivered classic cars
it's like
around.
A 10-wheeler.
Yeah, well, basically.
Well, no, you had a dually, so that's, 6 right there, plus the tire?
Six, yeah, it's 12-wheeler. I had a 12-wheeler.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I delivered antique cars and motorcycles all around the country. But, that's not really a big service thing. But I hear people, social media, in person, people, and even just on the road, people getting all pissed off at truckers, cutting in and out. We see it all the time.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
Tailgating truckers, cutting them off.
Yeah.
And what you need to realize, and not you, but what people need to realize is that nearly 99.9% of what we consume is delivered by a diesel ship, a diesel truck, or a diesel train. A diesel drives America.
Oh yeah,
and on top of that, these truckers and these ship, these captains and ship crews and these train operators. So the next time that you're cussing that train is blocking your road for 5 minutes while you have to on your drive somewhere, or that truck in front of you is going a little too slow, keep in mind that they literally keep America rolling. Truckers,
absolutely,
that's the old saying.
You have to give them that respect. Those guys, they can't stop on a dime. They're restricted to speed limits and time limits on things. You get a speeding ticket. What's it, like $140 or something for us? You talk to these guys, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than just, I got to go 5 miles an hour slower. I mean, they got restrictions. Give them their respect. They're working. You might get out if you're 9 to 5 and head home. They're still driving. Mm-hmm. They're going to be there a while. They're that far from home, that far from family for a long time. Give them that respect. Come on.
Yeah.
So, with that, I think we should probably take a break here, get a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, maybe try to liven up this conversation. Man.
Yeah,
we kind of shot down with this to start.
Didn't mean to do that over Christmas here. No, didn't mean to do that. So
when we come back, we'll liven it up, and we'll talk to you in a few.
All right.
'Tis the season for the annual History of Christmas Tree Walk in Algonac, Michigan. There are 16 days to choose from this year. Visit December 6th through 9th, 13th through 16th, 20th through 23rd, or 27th through 30th to see over 200 trees displayed inside a gorgeous 9,500 square foot log home. For more details, go to thechristmaswalk.com or call 810-794-2300. For fun food to put you in a festive mood, visit Foxfire Fixin's Restaurant in Marine City before or after the walk.
Well, continuing on our very long news section there, John, lightening up a little bit, talking about Christmas gifts and things like that. I know you keep talking about your Jeepster project,
yes,
running the Buick V6. And have you now seen Quick Draw Brands Buick V6 to Tremec 6-speed adapter.
I've seen it as of today. Don't know a whole lot about it, so tell me more.
Well, he just launched it 17 hours ago, I think, is what it says on Facebook right now. And he has the bell housing now to go from a T56 to a Chevy or a Buick Olds Pontiac
Nice.
Engine.
Nice.
This is pretty huge news. This is back when we were talking about muscle cars.
Yeah.
And, now any of the people with the Oldsmobile, Buick, Cadillac, Pontiac muscle cars can put a 6-speed Tremec from, like a Corvette or a Camaro behind the thing.
Nice.
And if you want it in a 4x4 application, I believe, I could be mistaken, I believe it's called Monster Transmissions. They make an adapter or something like that where they make it so you can put a standard transfer case behind
Answers
it.
my next question.
Yeah. I don't know the price. Price, but the bell housing itself, if for the to go from your Jeepster engine to, probably one of the better medium duty 6-speeds ever made. How much you think?
$650.
$425. And you get a free t-shirt.
Ooh, sweet. I'm sold. I like it.
I just literally saw that price when we started talking
Nice.
about this.
I'll say this quick side note. Well, you finish that and then I'll get it. It involves Chad.
That was about it.
Okay.
What's up?
Did you see his comparison picture he posted the other day?
No.
The Chevy V8 versus the 671 Detroit.
Oh, and that was a big block Chevy V8. Yeah, pretty different size.
If I remember to, I'll put that picture on the 4x4 talk.
Yeah,
Unless you
do
want to
that.
do that.
No,
That is a cool picture.
Go ahead. I don't want to click around on the keyboard too much right
no
now in
worries.
front of me here.
I have no room for the computer, so I'll have to do it after the show here.
So there you go. Put that on your put that bell housing adapter on your Christmas wish list.
That would be sweet.
What else? What else is on your Christmas wish list? What would you really like this year?
Boy. I mean, so I'm a video gamer, and there's I mean, I got a game on there I've been wanting to get that I just haven't yet.
Yeah, the original Atari ET game.
That would be awesome. I mean, that would be seriously cool, but I'd need an Atari.
Oh, okay.
I used to have one, but I sold it a long time ago, and I regret that ever since. Have regretted ever since. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. So, no, I mean, just that. There's some Jeep parts.
Okay.
Stuff to fix. I said the antenna broke. Well, I didn't have the money to get that. The only replacement I could find that was worth anything was a kit by Rugged Ridge. And it's an antenna mast kit. It gives you the actual mount for the outside, and it goes to what's called a multiplexer. But it allows you to hook up a CB radio and AM/FM to the same antenna.
Yeah, I've got one of those in the garage.
Really? Mm-hmm. You using it?
Probably.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I found a cheaper way to do it. It's gonna. I've got to modify a mount a little bit, but I found everything through Fire Stick that I need.
Cool.
They've been one of the longest lasting brands. I'm sure you've heard of them over the years.
Yeah, Amazon.
CB radios and just a lot of other. Oh God.
The Amazon Fire Stick. That's what I watch TV on.
Spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
No C.
Yes, I've heard of the Fire Stick.
They make antennas, mounts, cables for CB radios and other applications.
Sure.
And I found a combination of products they make that I'll have to drill a few holes, but I'll end up with a nice solid CB radio mount, and through another brand multiplexer, a nice setup for CB and my radio back.
Yeah, cool.
I'm excited.
Very cool.
So, I mean, that's probably the biggest things on my list is just that stuff right now.
Nice. Very
So,
nice.
yeah.
I don't really particularly have a list. I mean, I got kids, so I mean, they're always asking me, Dad, what I tell them consumables. Get me, get me. Well, not that they're going to buy me a bottle of whiskey, but you know what I mean. Get me some chocolates or some beef jerky or whatever.
Me personally, mine's always been, the stuff that I need is what I'd rather, spend the money on. Stuff that I want. That I don't necessarily need. I wouldn't go out of my way to spend the money on something I'd like to have. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Stuff, the luxury items, so to speak.
We had talked briefly there a little while ago about you and I. We had talked about maybe doing a how to Christmas shop for a car person. But the reality is, if you're listening to this podcast, you're already a car person.
Yeah.
So you already
Most
know.
likely.
But maybe people don't know how to talk to their loved ones and how to let them know, because
That's always been a thing with me. Is I know right where you're going with this, and it's the problem I have with anybody getting anything for me. I either need or only want very specific things.
yeah.
And it's not meant as a disrespect. Anything's appreciated, but and I think most of probably the listeners and you can agree with this. If I'm building something and I need a part, I'm building it. I know what works, what fits, what I want to complete it, to get that look. And again, it's no disrespect meant. You buy me something green and the whole rig's red, it's not gonna match.
Well, or the people just don't know the parts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had that. My ex-wife, years ago, bless her heart, she wanted to buy me something for my Jimmy off-road rig for Christmas, and she kept saying to me, and it wasn't like, "Hey, let me get you this, let me get that." She kept saying, "Hey, what do you want for your rig?" And I had lost my snatch block for my winch on a trip somewhere. It had gotten left in the mud, or somebody borrowed it and didn't get it back. And I said, "Well, I actually need another snatch block for my, for my winch on the Jimmy." And she said, "Well, what's a snatch block?" And I explained to her the cable goes through it, blah blah, And I said, "Warren makes them, but there's other companies that make them as well."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not picky on brand." I said, "Just, another snatch block would be awesome." And she's like, "Well, where would I get one of those?" And I said, "Well, you get one at the time you could actually buy them at Tractor Supply. I don't know if you still can.
I don't know.
But
I haven't been there in a while.
I said, you can get them at Tractor Supply. You can get them online, blah, blah, all this and that." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And, and then we talked about other things. And I said, "It's just a suggestion. Don't feel like you have to." Well, come Christmas, she comes over with this big box and she drops it in my lap, and she's in a real heavy box. And she's like, "Here you go, Merry Christmas, blah, blah." And I opened the thing up, and like I said, bless her heart, she had gotten me block and tackle for like a ship.
That's awesome, though.
She had gotten me a like an aluminum, I guess that's what it would be, like a block and tackle for rope, for like a 2-inch rope.
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh,
so do you have to start carrying hold rope in the back of the
I
Jimmy
know."
too?
I said, "Thank you so much." And she's like, she goes, "It's not what you were asking for." I says, "No." I says, "It really wasn't." She, "Well, I have the receipt." And I says, "Okay." And I explained to her, I said, "No," I said, "It's for cable, not rope." And I said, "What? How did you even get to this conclusion?" And she says, "Well, I knew what it was. I'd seen you use it before." And she goes, "I went to, I think it was Tractor Supply. It might have been like Farm and Fleet or something like that, and said I needed a snatch block." And she said, "The guy didn't really know what it was when I explained it. This is what he told me." And I'm like, fair enough,
Yeah.
So in that case, it might have been better to get a gift card to Warren.
Yeah, and that's a simple go-to solution. A lot of people knock the gift cards in the sense that, there's not much thought put into it, or, it's the easy way out. And yeah, that can be the case, but a lot of times you don't know exactly what somebody needs or wants in that application there.
Yeah.
So it's a better solution in a lot of cases to just do that.
Yeah,
I'm
embracing them more myself. We've gotten several this Christmas for the kids and stuff for different things they want.
And they help too, because if there might be something else at that particular wherever your gift card's for that you didn't know you wanted or needed. Or, you go there, something else might be better.
Perfect example, you being a gamer, one of our youngest kids, I'm asking him the other day, "What do you want for Christmas?" And he's like, "Well," he's like, "I have a whole wish list in my blah, blah, blah gaming account." And I'm like, "Your what?" And he's like, my gaming. I'm like, how would I even access that? Like, it's not an Amazon wish list. And he's like, "Oh, well, it's just on there and you can look at it." And I'm like, "Well, wouldn't I need like your login and your password or whatever?" And he's like, "I think so." And I'm like, and so then I'm asking him what he wants. And what he wants is basically in-game upgrade purchase things
credits
for online games he's doing. And I'm like, how would I possibly buy that for him and put it in his, like, Christmas morning, sit down there? And apparently there's something called a Steam card or something. I don't.
It's so basically what it is. It's that whole thing is what's called a microtransaction. There's a digital currency for whatever that system, or in this case, Steam is, and it's basically like buying a gift card for that. You can get them at a lot of gas stations. Kroger usually has them.
It's basically a cryptocurrency,
essentially.
Yeah.
But it's not like I can't pay you in that.
Okay.
You know, the cryptocurrency you can actually exchange out for real money. This is in-game currency only.
So I'm exchanging real money for worthless
Digital.
fake money.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like a great deal.
But for whoever that is, you get that extra content.
Okay, all right.
So it'd be like buying a digital movie download. It's exactly what it is. You're trading your currency for that currency, but now you can go download a movie.
Okay, I understand that further now. That makes sense to me.
So, yeah. So, again, in the whole, back to the gift card thing or, buying the wrong item, if they, like, I wouldn't have never guessed Steam. I'm a platform gamer. I'm particular to the Microsoft, the Xbox. Mm-hmm. And there is a difference between the Xbox and the PlayStation as far as the download credits like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, specifically, he told us Steam card works.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I would have gotten an Xbox card, I don't know what they call them, but if I would have gotten something like that would have not worked.
No.
So it's very confusing with the electronic age of all the very things.
It can be, yeah. And I kind of started a time with the video game system pre-online gameplay, and I was pre-microtransactions. I was when they made an expansion or something, you had to buy another disc. I like that. I prefer that.
Okay.
Because what's happened in that, and that's probably not really a whole conversation for here, but I'll hit it real quick.
Sure.
When you start doing transactions like that, you're taking the company starts putting less into the game because they can sell you more later.
Yeah, I can see. I've heard that.
I hate that so much.
I've seen some of the videos online, the Facebook videos and stuff, where they're making fun of it. It's like, you're going to do this quest, and it's like, for $10, you can do this.
It's ridiculous. It's insane.
It's like, I'm going to go into this tavern.
You're already paying $60 for a game, and then to play all of it, you have to buy these expansion packs as they make it. Now I get it, like a one-time cost to add, a bunch of new levels or something. Cool. But every 6 months, more and more and more, you're inevitably spending $100+ on some of these games by the time you do all that, and it pisses me off.
I saw,
and I'll be at the end of my note on that.
That's fine. And on the end of that, well, all right. Just on the end of that, I did see a thing online. I was reading an article about that, and there was a particular game, and I don't know what game it was, but somebody had done a time money study on it and had said that to fully unlock the game, there was ways that you could earn money in the game.
Yeah.
To fully unlock the game, you would have to spend something like, it was insane. It was something like 90,000 hours doing it in this game to fully unlock it, to be able to pay for everything, or about $1,100 if you just wanted to pay like $1,100.
You said 90,000 hours?
I think it was something like that. It was like 80 or 90,000 hours.
We'll go with 80 for the sake of argument here.
Trying to look it up?
No, I want to divide that by days. So 80,000 hours is 3,333.333 days. Assume 365 days a year. That is over 9 years of straight gameplay.
Yeah, and that was the point that the author was making. I don't know that they broke it down that way. And I think he said in the article it was something like maybe his math was off or maybe my numbers are off. But I thought he said it would be like 5 years of straight gameplay or something.
That could be, yeah.
Anyways, he said
it's
in the article, he says, absolutely ridiculous. So the only way you can fully unlock this game is
spend more money.
To spend more money. And he said he added up all of the purchases in the game, and it was like $1,100.
Yeah.
So you buy this game, like I said, for $60, and you're gonna spend $1,100.
It's enough to make me stop.
Yeah,
it really.
No
is.
way I'd ever play a game like that.
No,
and I'm not a gamer, but there's no way.
I have a few franchises that I follow, and a few
Arby's, McDonald's. I got you.
No, like Halo, Assassin's Creed, Gears of War. Those are kind of the three main games that I play, and all of their sequels and all that. And I mean, it gets to a point with some of it. Like I said, the quality of the first games, and the first one will always be better than the rest.
Sure.
But what you got in the first one versus what you get now, and then you have to continue paying for more content.
Sure.
I mean, and I don't mean in the sense that, another game, I'm going to pay more. That's different. I mean, what I spent $60 on, and I want to keep playing it. To keep playing it, I have to have this expansion pack. Okay, how much is that? $30. No.
Exactly.
And the quality of the story mode, what you're playing offline, I mean, that's gone so far downhill because everybody's focusing on the online.
Yeah.
And it ticks me off.
Oh.
And let's change subject.
Sure. All right. Yeah. I can tell. All right. So getting back to kind of Christmas shopping and actually speaking about 4-wheel drive stuff and things like that. I guess on my list, is more like time. I mean, honestly, I'd love the time to be able to get some of the projects done.
Yeah.
There's no parts that I'm currently really craving. I could be cheesy and be like, I would like a light bar and a Monster Energy drink sticker and some Rockstar wheels. And no, I'm not gonna. No, we're not that kind of show.
For the love of God, if you ask for black ice air fresheners, we're done. I have such a passionate hatred of that scent. Yeah. And part of, a lot of that deals with my time at the auto parts stores.
Yeah, okay.
It is one of the better selling scents. I don't know why. My stomach is churning thinking about that stench. It's horrible.
I tell you what, man. That's something.
And you always get the generic good items, cleaning stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, off-road rigs, we're probably not as attentive to keeping stuff, clean and shiny as we can be or maybe should be in certain aspects.
Yeah.
But I mean, cleaning stuff is always a good choice.
Hey, speaking of cleaning things, is your buddy Ed there, our mutual buddy Ed, is he going to ever come by the Mora and clean up the sand rail that's covered in mud?
He's talked about it. Yeah, he and I have discussed it. He works late nights right now, so he's usually leaving for work at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
What is it? Third shift he's on, so he's working all night.
Yeah.
So his scheduling and timing, I mean, he's had like one day off in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
People like it with the mud on it, but...
I mean, I went to a car show with Pegasus.
Sure.
After I got the majority of her done, and I kept it all dirty. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't win anything.
No.
First show, I wasn't expecting to, but every single person that came by and looked at this thing said how much they appreciated that I did not clean it. It proves that I use it and that it's real. Most of those things are trailer queens. Mine clearly was not. I drove it there and I drove it home.
Well, that's the way to do it. Yeah. You drive.
Yeah.
Speaking of the museum and museum minutes here.
Quick side note on that. He does have the wheels mounted to the paddle tires, though.
Okay.
He told me that. So either I or he, one of these days, will be swapping those out.
Yeah. Speaking of his sand rail, then before we even go into museum minutes, we need to have a little discussion with him and help him out with his rear suspension geometry.
Oh.
You ever notice that thing when you look on his rear, his toe out is way off on that thing?
That's what the wheels are like that?
No.
People can't see what I'm doing the other way?
The toe, like this. And people can't see what I'm doing, but like the bow of a ship.
Oh, yeah, that's because he kind of flipped it last time at Silver Lake, so it bent a few things.
I was looking at it. It's fully, he's got fully adjustable, rear suspension on the arms. He has, why am I drawing? He's got the links at the end, the one with the ball in them. What are those things called?
Ball joint?
No, not
ball.
Oh,
Heim joints.
Heim joints. Yeah, Heim joints. He's got Heim joints on everything, and he's got them all bottomed out completely. Like, so a couple of those need to be adjusted out like an inch or two.
Yeah, we should be able to take care of it.
We should be able to help him there,
of course. But
but museum minutes. So we're still in the Christmas walk right now. Every
like
Friday through Monday.
It's Thursdays too.
Nope, it's Friday through Mondays.
Okay.
And it's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Gotcha.
And we've had a couple thousand visitors now through the museum again. Had a lot of great conversations with people reminiscing about different vehicles. A lot of people just love some of the displays there.
Cool.
We had Mr. Garrett, Mark Garrett, that is loaning us the Eagle. Mm-hmm. Drove all the way up from Indiana last night.
Oh, wow.
For the Christmas walk.
Very
and
cool.
Checked out the Eagle, make sure that, we haven't sold it on him or anything.
What we should do, I know a guy who's got one he's running in the gambler race. We should swap it out.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Say, hey, we took it in an off-road run. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, man, I don't think he'd be okay with
Probably have a heart attack or just shoot us.
Is it about
We'll wait
that?
till April to do that.
Is it about that time, John?
It is just about, yeah. So
All right.
we'll be back in a few minutes. Take a quick break.
All right. Hey, it sounds like it's time to swap out that old engine for something better, John.
Yeah, man, but I have so much into my trans and transfer case set up already. I don't want to change those too.
Sounds like you need to call Quick Draw Brand Adapters. They specialize in conversion bell housings for nearly all diesel and gasoline engines, including the new 2.8R Cummins.
I like weird engines up. I want something different.
Then you definitely need to visit QuickDrawBrand.com today. They have those hard-to-find parts. They also have used diesel engines available. You can call them at 513-446-9654.
Cool, I'll do that. See what they have. Thanks.
Okay. Back to complaining about something for a minute here. Can we do this?
I guess, sure. I mean, it's our show. We're unsupervised today. We can do what we want.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm getting, as a small business owner, Thinline Off-Road, free plug, thinlineoffroad.com.
Shameless.
That's
a good show.
Yeah, it is. There's not much on thinlineoffroad.com right now, by the way, but I've got some of
Tell people that.
I'm reworking the website, but
You're supposed to say there's more coming.
yeah, well, there is.
Soon.
There is more coming. But,
All right, then.
So, I am getting very frustrated with the Amazon Prime generation.
Oh. I think I see where you're going
Everybody
with it, but...
seems to think that shipping should be free on everything.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where you're going with it.
And so I sell a lot of parts through eBay. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of times I'm selling heavy cast iron, heavy steel parts,
Yeah.
And I sell these parts and people will be like, well, what do you mean shipping's $20? Well, it just fits in a large flat rate box, which is $21.90, I think, right now.
Yeah.
So I'm actually eating $1.90.
It was like $13.40 something.
So I'm like eating $2 already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm only charging $20 shipping, and eBay's actually taking a part of that too. So I'm only getting like maybe $17 in my pocket.
10% final value fee they take, which is your total of shipping. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but
No.
We could have a whole episode about eBay and but
We should one of these days. I know
really
we've
should.
discussed it before, but anyways.
But yeah, here's the thing, and they're complaining and they're going, oh well, blah blah blah, UPS will ship this for this much, and it's like, well, first of all, I'm not anywhere near a UPS drop location.
Yep.
Two, not that there's anything wrong with UPS, but my preferred shipping method, I have a post office a quarter mile from my house.
The simple explanation is that's the cheapest way to ship. If I'm going to ship UPS or FedEx, it's going to cost extra time and gas to go there. I'll ship it whatever you want me to, but there's going to be a fuel surcharge.
Yeah, we're in a rural area, and they all think that we should do that for free, and everybody wants something for free, and it's like, you need to understand that there's a. So I had that happen. I sold some parts the other day, and the guy's like, and he's in California, so your favorite state, I know. I know hey, there's some great wheeling, it's a beautiful country.
I'll take your word for it.
Sure, but. I'm shipping some parts, and the guy's like trying to beat me up on the shipping, and it's like, beat me up if you want to talk about the price of the item on a used item or something. We'll talk about that. Yeah. But don't be like, I don't know. People just they get offended.
Yeah.
When you tell them this is how much it cost me to ship.
The one that gets me. So I do a lot of marketplace sales.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite is I put a price, so I expect wiggle room. I'll put something a little higher than I want to get for it because I know somebody's, I don't put or best offer.
Sure.
I'll take less than my goal sometimes. Mm-hmm. But what I hate are the ones like, hey, I'll pay your asking, but will you ship it for that? So, all right, where's it going? Find out. The shipping's $50.
Yeah, no.
It's a $60 item. No.
No.
Now, sometimes it'll work out. As There's an item recently sold that, again, I put higher expecting people to talk down. And I got the information from the gentleman. I got a shipping quote from all 3 major places. And it actually worked out for me to cover the cost of shipping. I still made more than what my minimum goal was. That case, it worked out.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, even there, you have to factor in your time.
Oh, yeah.
For sitting down and getting quotes from all those places.
Yeah. And
because I've had that too. I've had
Yeah.
customers that have said, "Well, let me know how much it'll be to ship FedEx, how much it'll be shipped UPS, how much." Like, no,
Yeah.
if
I
I
won't.
sit down and I'm going to spend a half an hour of my
Yeah.
time as a business owner,
I'll give you one shipping quote. You don't get the option. You want it shipped a certain way? All right, this is the cost.
sure.
Straight up. I've not. You're in a business situation with that. I'm not, but that's the way it is. That's how I've done it. This is what the cost to ship it. Cheapest shipping method. Barry, do you want anything else? Obviously, you're going to pay for it.
On the marketplace thing, I just saw a good friend of mine was complaining today that he messages people and they never get back with him. They post something on marketplace,
Yeah.
and then even on the weekend, he said, well, most people aren't working or whatever. Nothing,
Yeah.
just never get back, and it happens. And I get that all the time. And then I
Admittedly, I've forgotten to respond to people, whether I'm buying or selling. It happens. But I usually eventually remember.
I mean, I'll get the things too where it's like, and this is happening more and more where I'll have something, I'll just round number. Let's say I got something for sale for $50. I'll get a message from somebody that'll be like, still available. Well, it says right in the ad, I'll delete it when it's gone, but
Yeah.
yes, it's still available, blah, blah, blah.
The only quick note I'll add to that,
It's the automatic buttons.
yeah, I've done it accidentally before. Now, there's this app like that called Let Go or Let It Go, something like that. They have the same feature. However, and I haven't used it in a long time to see if the feature's still there. If you hit that button, it'll say sending in 5, 4, 3, and there's a cancel button.
Gotcha.
So if you hit it and realize that you can hit cancel.
Yeah, Marketplace has got some problems.
A lot.
But
A lot.
they do. Then they'll say something like, okay, well, that $50 item, you take $45? Sure.
Yeah.
And then I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of even asking me?
My favorite one is the extreme low balls. I've had a welder for sale on a couple of these apps for a while for $100. Price is $100. I'm not going to let it go for less than that. I mean, an offer of $80 or something, okay. But when somebody sends me an offer asking if I'll take $25 for it, it's a joke.
I actually had that this morning, and I didn't realize until I got there that it had happened that way. I was helping my mom get rid of some of the stuff from her business, and I had something listed for $90, and it was exactly that. It was $25.
Oh.
And I thought I was talking to somebody about something else because they were messaging me back and forth about a $30 item, and they'd said, will you take $25? And I said, sure. So then I get there this morning, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, we're talking about this other item.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the person looked at it and decided they didn't want it, even at the $25. And it wouldn't have really mattered because it was essentially a piece of junk. But, it's like, why? And I felt like saying to him, like, what made you?
Yeah.
He did show up and looked at it, but,
See, and I'll admit, I've made lowball offers before, but it's putting in there and saying, hey, look, I've got this. If you'd let it go at that, I can come tonight. But any kind of offer like that is with a sense of urgency. And
typically, yes.
I've had them accepted. Now, I'm not going to be disrespectful in an offer.
Nope.
I'll say something's like, look, I'm interested in this. This is what I have. I know it's way below what you're asking. If you would do it, I can come tonight, tomorrow morning, or, at your earliest convenience. And I've had plenty of those acceptance. Like, yeah, just get it out of here.
I just sent one of those, and it's very rare for me, but I sent one of those the other night. We're out Christmas shopping up in Port Huron, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and my son's truck needs 2 wheels. They're kind of an oddball wheel.
Yeah.
And I've been having a hard time finding them. But I found another guy that was selling a set of 4 wheels and tires that were the same bolt pattern and everything, and they would work on my son's truck. So I was looking to maybe buy them for him for Christmas for the Z71 project, which, by the way, is just stagnant right now. We haven't done anything to it, but he's getting some parts for Christmas for it. So we go and we're looking at the or I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm looking at it, and I see the set of wheels and tires, and the guy's asking $400, and I look at it, and the wheels are decent, a little bit of scrape,
usable kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
deals.
you know, curb rash, maybe scraping this and that. The tires are probably 50%, and so I just sent him a message, and I said, maybe even 30 or 40%. The tires aren't great.
Yeah.
And I sent him a message, and I said, I'm in Port Huron right now. I can be there in like 15 minutes if you'll take $200. I said, I don't really need the tires, and if you got to take them off, I'll just buy the wheels from you.
Yeah.
Never heard back. But, you know, I mean, yeah, it was a lowball offer, but I was essentially offering to buy the wheels. And I didn't say to him, hey, I can dismount them because I have a tire machine. I should have maybe offered that. But
I say whenever I'm making offers, you know, I'm not. Then I say lowball. I don't mean like a $300 item and I'm offering them $50.
no,
You know,
typically not.
It's still.
I'll usually
worth,
walk away from a deal like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's it's something. It'll be a respectful offer, probably lower. You know, I know what I can get stuff for, and I'll base it on that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a tough game to play sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I always hope that I don't offend anybody with some of these offers. And usually if I'm saying, you know, hey, you know, I'm not meaning to be rude about this, but, you know, this, like the tires you're saying. You know, I've messaged people before like, hey, look, you know, these tires are a quarter of what they are new. You know, they're old, they're dry rotted, they're not that good. You know, I can't use tires, I can still use wheels. I'll offer you this much, you know, for them and get the tires out of the way for you kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's different. You know, if your offer's based on a condition being less than what it is, you know, that's a different kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I can see that. So, man, we've been all over the place. This has almost been one. This has almost been one of our end of the trail episodes.
Almost, yeah.
Which
maybe we should wait for the producer next time, kind of keep us in line. Unsupervised, yeah.
True. I would think that speaking of the end of the trail. The end of the trail episodes, producer Andrew is promising that he is working diligently on the Patreon problem, whatever it is. But you know, for those of you who are interested in getting more Wheelin' shows, we have a Patreon show called, well, it's under Wheelin', but it's called End of the Trail. So there are some problems with the Patreon system.
And again, our sincerest apologies to those of you who are subscribing. It's coming, I promise.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're going to get like 8 uploads at once, probably, is what's going to happen.
And then they're going to hate us, and they're going to cancel their subscription.
Who knows? But yeah, we're figuring it out. And but if you're interested in hearing more of our awful voices and our awful banter, you can go to the Patreon show or the patreon.com and then look up Wheelin', WHEELIN, of course, no G. And you can find us. And, you know, as little as $2 a month. You sign up and you can get all those other. What is that money for? Obviously, it's so John and I can go on Caribbean cruises. And we just need 200,000 of you to sign up at $2 a month.
No, it goes into operating expenses. You know, we need some, you know, cold carbonated refreshments to kind of keep the spark going.
Yeah.
So, it helps out. There are costs we have associated with running this. And, I mean, it helps us out with that. It helps us to be able to bring you better content.
Yeah.
So, it's always stuff we're working on improving and expanding on what we're doing, what we talk about. We've discussed before the eventuality of moving into video with this. So we'll do product reviews with it, you know, how to install or how to build, how to do this, how to evaluate this, what to look for, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, so there's a lot of value there. We are, you know, just that little bit of money, like John said, can help continue studio productions and things like that. We're trying to give you guys the content that you want, and we want to hear from our listeners.
And that goes for anybody. Let us know what you want to hear. If you like something, don't like something, let us know. You know, we're always looking for input and, you know, critiquing on what we could do to make things better or not make things worse.
True, yeah. We're we're enjoying doing this. This has been something that has been, for 36 episodes, has been very, it's been a passion project for us.
Yeah.
We have had people reach out through email, through 4x4 Talk, through the Facebook group.
Individuals we know who
Twitter.
listen.
Yeah, individuals we know who listen.
Yeah.
So it's continuing to grow, and,
We want to keep it that way.
Yeah, we're very thankful for everything.
Absolutely.
Thankful for our listeners.
To everybody who listens, who puts the stickers on their vehicles, who talks to people about us, who helps promote us and get more listeners. Thank you from both of us. Well, all of us.
Yeah.
Both of us. And I think we can safely say thank you from Mr. Andrew, the producer, as well.
True.
So.
True. John, was there anything else you wanted to cover in this episode?
I think we hit just about everything.
Sure.
I don't know what our overall topic was today, but
well, it was
works.
it was a general banter. We just kind of
Yeah.
went around on a lot of different things.
More or less somewhat Christmas themed.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. We had so much swirling in our heads and going on. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to wish all of our listeners a very, very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays if your Christmas isn't
whatever
your thing.
You celebrate.
There's like 19
happy
different
whatever.
holidays. So yeah. And a Happy New Year too. You'll hear from us again before New Year, but
at least once.
Yeah. But yeah, just happy holidays to everyone.
So happy holidays. Thank you. And with that, thank you all for listening, and have a good one, everybody.